She said she accidentally forgot to invite my parents to our engagement party. I didn't argue or make a scene. I just used the wedding fund to buy my parents the house right next to hers. I stood in the driveway of my parents' house for 10 minutes before I could make myself walk to the door. 3 years. It had been 3 years since I'd last seen them. 3 years since the fight. 3 years since I'd walked out and said I was done. I'm Carter. 32 now. The fight happened when I was 29. My dad had co-signed a business loan for me. A small restaurant, my dream. It failed within a year and a half. I lost everything. When the loan defaulted, it wrecked my dad's credit. He'd been planning to retire early, buy an RV, and travel with my mom. Instead, he had to keep working. Had to refinance their house just to cover the debt. He never said it was my fault. And somehow, that was the worst part. He just looked disappointed. Tired. Why mom tried to make peace, said it was just money. But I could see it in both their eyes. I'd let them down. I'd cost them their retirement, their plans, their peace of mind. The guilt ate me alive. Every time I saw them, I felt smaller. So I stopped going over. Stopped calling. First came the excuses, then silence. They tried reaching out for the first year, and then they stopped too. Now I was back. Not because anyone told me to, because I was getting married. And that kind of thing makes you think about who should be there. Who matters. I realized I'd been a coward. If I wanted to start a new chapter, I needed to fix the old one first. When I knocked on the door, my heart was pounding. My mom opened it. Her face went through 5 emotions in 2 seconds. Surprise, happiness, confusion, hesitation, relief. She looked older. More gray, more lines. She said my name. Not as a question, just like she was making sure I was real. Hi, I said. Can I come in? She stepped aside without a word. Why Dad was in the living room. Same chair as always, reading the paper. He looked up, saw me, set it down slowly. Didn't say a thing. I just stood there, like an idiot, completely blank. Mom offered coffee. I said sure. She went to the kitchen. My dad and I just stared at each other until he finally spoke. How have you been? Fine. I said, working. Yeah, doing okay. He nodded. Still in the restaurant business? No, I said. Got out. Working in food distribution now. It's steady. He nodded again. The silence between us felt heavy, thick enough to choke on. Mom came back with coffee. We sat. No one knew how to start. So I did that. I told them I was getting married. Her name was Claire, and that I wanted them at the wedding. Then I said I was sorry. For everything. For the money. For disappearing. For being a coward. Mom started crying. Didn't say a word, just cried. Dad's face barely moved. When's the wedding? He asked. June, I said. For months. He asked if Claire knew. About the loan. About me cutting them off. I nodded. She knows everything. He looked at me for a long time, then said something that hit me like a punch. We paid off the loan 2 years ago, he said. Sold some investments. Downsized the retirement plans. But it's done. We weren't mad about the money. We were hurt that you walked away. That you let guilt kill the relationship instead of just talking to us. My throat tightened. I told him I didn't know what to say. He said, start by not disappearing again. Whatever happens, we're still your parents. You don't have to carry that shame. We made the choice to help you. We knew the risks. That's what parents do. Mom wiped her eyes and asked about Claire, what she was like when they could meet her. I told them how we met, what she did for work. They listened, really listened. For the first time in years, it felt normal. Like maybe this could be fixed. Then Mom asked about the engagement party. When is it? In 2 weeks, I said. Are we invited? And I froze. I hadn't thought that far ahead. I'd come to apologize, not plan logistics. The party was at Claire's parents' house. Big event. She'd been organizing it for weeks, and I'd let her handle most of it because I was busy with work and because, honestly, I didn't want to deal with this part. I'm not sure about the details yet, I said. I still need to figure some things out. Her face fell. My dad's expression changed, cooler, distant. He said, take your time. No pressure. But the tone said something else entirely that I knew immediately I'd said the wrong thing. I wanted them there. God, I did, but I was terrified. Terrified of saying the wrong thing again. Of breaking this fragile truce before it even began. That I finished my coffee, said I should get going. Mom hugged me tight. Dad shook my hand. Formal, distant, like I'd just confirmed what he feared, that I still wasn't ready to let them back in, that I drove home feeling worse than when I'd left. I'd gone there to make things right, but somehow made it worse. Made them think I was ashamed of them. Claire was in my apartment when I got back, laptop open, typing. She looked up briefly. "Hey," she said. I ordered Thai, then went back to work. That should have been the first sign, but I was too wrapped up in my own head to notice that. I sat down and told her I'd gone to see my parents. She made a small sound, half interest, half distraction. Didn't even look up. I said it had gone okay, but that I'd stumbled at the end. "That's too bad," she said. Still typing. I asked if she had the final count for the engagement party. She said about 60 people were coming. I asked if there was room for 2 more. That made her finally look up. "Who?" she asked. "My parents," I said. Her expression flickered for a second, something I couldn't read. Then she smiled and said, "Of course, whatever you want." But her tone was flat. That I explained that I wanted them there, but things were still delicate. That I'd messed up when they asked about the party, made it sound like I wasn't sure they were invited. I told her I needed to fix it, but I didn't trust myself not to say the wrong thing again. Everything with them felt fragile, like one wrong word and it would all fall apart. I asked if she could call them. Invite them herself. Tell them how much we wanted them there. Coming from her, as my fiancée, it would mean something. It would show them they were part of this. Part of us. She was quiet for a long moment, then said she'd handle it. I thanked her, feeling relieved. She was good with people, charming, thoughtful. My parents would like her. This would help heal things. She went back to her laptop without another word. Didn't ask how my parents were, or if they were excited about the wedding. Just said she'd take care of it and kept typing. Over the next 2 weeks, I asked her 3 times if she'd called them. The first time she said, "Not yet. I've been busy." The second, she said she'd left a message. The third, she said they'd confirmed. Everything was set. Each time, I believed her. Trusted her. Didn't think to double check. The engagement party was at her parents' house. Big, expensive neighborhood. Her dad was in commercial real estate. Her mom an interior designer. They'd insisted on hosting. Said they wanted to celebrate properly. I'd agreed. My apartment was too small, and I didn't want to put pressure on my parents when things were still tender. The day of the party, I showed up early to help set up. Claire was in full command mode, directing caterers and decorators. Her mom was the same, barking orders, adjusting centerpieces. Her dad was already half a drink in. The place looked perfect, like something out of a magazine. Everything white and chrome, modern art on the walls, expensive without even trying. I thought of my parents' house, smaller, warmer. Furniture with actual wear. Family photos everywhere. Lived in. Reeled up EY6. Guests started arriving. Her friends, her coworkers, her extended family. Everyone looked like they were headed to a gala. I kept glancing at the door, waiting for my parents to EY7. Still nothing. I asked Claire if she was sure they confirmed. She said yes, probably just running late. Her tone was dismissive, like it didn't matter at BY8. I was worried. Tried calling, no answer. Texted, nothing. My dad always had his phone on him. Always picked up. Something was off. I pulled Claire aside, away from the crowd. Asked her when she'd actually spoken to them. What day, what time, what did they say? She tensed immediately. I told you, I handled it, she said. Why are you interrogating me right now? I kept my voice calm. Just tell me when you called. She looked away. Said she meant to, but got caught up with planning. Things have been crazy. She'd forgotten, but she was sure I'd told them about it anyway, so they probably knew. Something cold settled in my chest. Say that again? I asked. She repeated it. She forgot. It was an oversight. Not a big deal. We could call them now, have them come late. Everything would be fine. I stared at her. I asked you 3 times if you'd invited them, I said quietly. You told me they confirmed. She shook her head. I didn't lie. I just got mixed up. I thought I had. It's been hectic. I'm sorry, but she wouldn't meet my eyes. Did you not invite them on purpose? I asked. She hesitated, barely a second, but it was enough. Then she got defensive. You're being ridiculous. My parents put so much work into this night. Everyone's having a great time. Do you really want to ruin it over this? That was it. The truth was right there. I asked one last time. Why didn't you want them here? She glanced around, making sure no one could hear, and said quietly, "It would have been awkward. Your family situation is complicated. My parents wanted this night to be perfect. Having them here, with all that history and tension, it just would have made things uncomfortable. I was trying to protect you." "Protect me?" I said. "From my own parents?" She sighed, like I was missing the point. "You know what I mean? They're not like my family. It would have been awkward, that's all." And in that moment, I saw her clearly. She didn't think my parents were good enough. Not for her perfect party. Not for her perfect image. She decided they were an embarrassment, and then lied to me over and over to keep them out. That I told her we were done. She blinked. "What?" "The engagement," I said. "It's over." She laughed, thinking I was bluffing, but I wasn't. I walked into the center of her perfect, glittering party. Music playing, people laughing, glasses clinking. I asked everyone to stop, and when the room went quiet, I said clearly and calmly, "There's been a change of plans. Claire and I are no longer getting engaged." I told everyone at the party to go home. Claire's mother looked horrified. Her dad started toward me, and Claire grabbed my arm, begging me not to do this. "Not here, not now." I pulled away, told her she'd made her choice when she decided my parents weren't good enough to invite. When she lied to my face 3 times. That told me everything I needed to know about who she was. That I left. Drove straight to my parents' house. It was 9:30, lights still on. My dad answered, surprised to see me again so soon. I told them there was no engagement party, that Claire hadn't invited them, that it was over. My mom's face fell. My dad just nodded. That I said I was sorry for letting someone else make choices about them, for being a coward again. Dad told me to come in. I explained everything. How Claire said she'd invite them. Hochetlit. How she thought they wouldn't fit. My mom said quietly it was probably for the best, that someone who'd lie about something small would lie about bigger things. My dad asked what I was going to do next. I told them I had $40,000 saved for the wedding. I wanted to use it for something that mattered. They told me to save it, but I had another idea. There was a house for sale right next to Claire's parents. Nice place, below market value. I said they should buy it. I put down the $40,000. They could cover the rest. My dad asked why. "Because she thought you weren't good enough for her neighborhood," I said. "I want her to see you there every day, to see what she threw away." Mom said it sounded spiteful. I said maybe, but it was also practical. Smaller house, safer area, good investment. My parents exchanged a look. My dad asked if I was serious. I said completely. The next morning, I called the realtor, offered full price, $40,000 down. It was accepted. Within a week, my parents' mortgage was approved. During the next month, Claire tried everything, calls, texts, emails, even her mom. I ignored all of it. I was done. 3 weeks later, I ran into Claire at a coffee shop. She said she'd made a mistake, that she was sorry, that she panicked. I asked if she panicked every time she lied to me. She had no answer. She asked what I wanted from her. I said, nothing. She said that wasn't fair. I told her some mistakes show who you really are. She showed me enough. When she asked about the wedding fund, I told her it was already spoken for, that I told Claire there were no deposits. The money was mine. She said that wasn't the point. She just wanted to know if we were really done. I told her we were. Then I mentioned I'd bought my parents a house. When I said it was next door to her parents, her face went pale. She called it insane, said I was doing it to hurt her. I told her it was for my parents, a safe neighborhood close to my dad's work. All true. That it happened to be next to hers was just coincidence. She knew I was lying down on closing day. My parents signed the papers and got the keys. When we arrived, Claire's parents came out. My dad introduced himself and said they were the new owners. Claire's mom looked mortified, said Claire told them I was stalking her. My mom set the record straight, said Claire had excluded us from our own son's engagement party and lied about it. Claire's parents tried to smooth it over, but I ended it by saying my parents were looking forward to being part of the neighborhood. A few days later, Claire showed up at their door, demanding to see me. My parents refused. She tried again and again until my mom threatened to call the police. She texted later, saying I was cruel, that everyone was talking. I told her my parents had every right to live wherever they wanted, and if she was embarrassed, that was her problem. My parents settled in, made friends, and were happier than I'd seen in years. Claire's parents kept things polite but distant. 2 months later, Claire ran into my mom and tried to apologize, said she regretted everything. My mom told her the real mistake wasn't forgetting invitations. It was believing my parents weren't good enough. Claire moved out 3 months later. Couldn't handle seeing them every day. I visit my parents twice a week now. We have dinners, watch games, just live normal lives again. The years of distance feel like a bad dream.